High five. Well, for anybody who's watched us for any length of time, they can tell what the sound is in the background and what's about to happen. You saw us put the engine and transmission back together. We got rain coming Thursday. It's Tuesday evening. It's 4:30 right now. We're gonna put this car up on the wheel stands and we're gonna see if we can get that engine and transmission stabbed in here tonight. Hopefully not get too late. Oh, and by the way, if you're new, that is Jezebel, my 70 Charger. I'm Jed from Scott's Speed Shop. Thank you for tuning in. And the engine and transmission we are getting ready to place in there is my 500-inch big block Mopar stroked out. It's got a tunnel ram 2650 Holley Ultra XPs, making 634 horsepower and 650 some odd foot-pounds of torque. Pretty weak for what it's capable of, but it's plenty. Backed up by an A833 Chrysler transmission, 18 spline with a Ram dual disc clutch. Over about a year ago, we had a McLeod clutch explode in a glorious fashion during a burnout. Not great. It's all going back together much better than it was before. Like I said, we got the dual quad tunnel ram now instead of the 3 deuce setup. We got a Ram dual disc clutch. It's good for 12 to 1500 horsepower. The 4-speed's been freshly redone by a good friend of mine, Jesse. And I also upgraded to a Heim joint system for the shifter that I made out of just parts. So, oh, and a powertrain technology rebuilt the throw-up bearing for me. We got poly-lock motor mounts. We're gonna give those a shot. So, wish us luck that we get this thing stabbed and everything plugged in tonight. And that way tomorrow we can start buttoning up the headers, get the throw-up bearing all set up with the lines, and get the clutch set up. Oh, it's gonna be a glorious day. Well, here we are again. We've been here many, many times. By the way, those wheels are bolted together. They're not coming apart. So now we got to get the engine transmission out of the garage. That's gonna be a tad bit interesting, but we'll get her hooked up to the crane and start sliding everything in. What says you, Dad?
You're gonna have to do it sooner or later.
The greatest dad in the world is right there. And I don't know where he vanished. He disappeared. I don't know where the heck he's going.
That's old Wade Barber.
Oh, Ed Barber is a pretty cool dude. So I think we have to move this into tandem since we have the transmission still on a little dolly. So I'm gonna put the phone down and we'll get to filming. This is always the scariest part. You ever seen about $15,000 worth of drivetrain above your garage? But I trust it with Dad. There ain't a better crane operator out in the world. And he is certified crane operator, actually. The baby is born. Alrighty, so I don't know how much we actually filmed what we did because we had a huge debacle, but look, it's in there. And probably not going to clear the scoop. So we're fighting the, we got a bunch of oil leaks showing up because the engine's harsh angle. So we're fighting a bunch of things. First off, the little stupid super shifter I had in my head that I needed to get rid of, but I chose to keep it. It's really fighting us because that little red lockout handle was hitting. So we went to go take it apart, and when we took the bolts out, that sleeve that holds the Hurst shifter apart fell out with it, and everything just dropped. Luckily, the Heim joints were holding everything in place. However, the problem with that was now it's all bound up, and I can't get it just right. Now we're fighting the transmission cross member, trying to get the transmission up high enough in the tunnel, and jack won't go that far, so we're working on that. But I always just wanted to get the tranny cross member in there, but it's looking pretty glorious. A lot of headaches, a lot of cuss words. Yeah, and we're gonna get back at it. Sun's going down. Alrighty, so the transmission is officially bolted in. It's all tightened up, all ready to rock and roll. We're gonna leave the motor loose just a little bit for now, mainly because we still gotta put headers in. Holy crap, look at my hair. It's awful. You didn't tell me my hair was this bad. I'm just curious. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Oh, lots of crap. So, I hope that really clears the hood scoop. Those 1/4-inch spacers might have to leave. Okay, it's closed. And we actually have more clearance now than we did with the old intake, which is exactly what my measurement said. We got plenty of room on this side. More than enough on that side. But if you just kind of look through the scoop, you can see we got room and room and room in the back now. So that's great because the old intake used to rub the back of the scoop just barely. So now we should be good. When it's daylight out, we'll be able to see better. That dark blue's kind of a pain in the butt. So, woohoo! Alrighty. Well, in the morning, I'm going to check back in with you guys, and we'll see how it looks. So here's part of our issue with the shifter. Oh, let me try and get you over here. So when everything fell apart, literally the sleeve that holds the shifter together fell out, and all the gates and everything got loose. I was able to kind of piece it all back together. However, something happened with either the transmission got knocked into gear during the installation, or the shifter's just bound up. But this linkage right here, you see how the rod's all the way forward, it will not leave that position. It's all bound up, so we're gonna have to probably take it loose and try and reinstall it. That aside, that was the main problem yesterday. Good news, drive shaft safety loop fits perfectly. All that math and everything, got it in there. We're gonna have to, you know, get all the bolts in there. We've got a little more bias towards the passenger side, which is exactly what we wanted. So, gonna be a lot of working underneath the car today. I don't have as crazy a hair yet, but I'm sure it will get there. So, stay tuned, guys, and we'll get Jezebel back together sooner or later. Oh yeah. This is for you, Chris Birdsong. If you ever watch this, that's still on the car. Alrighty, guys, so I got some things to show you, and the issues with the shifter. I'm also just looking at myself in the camera, make sure I ain't got a bunch of crap on me. So let's go take a look underneath the car. Okay, so we have the most gratuitous and most attractive shot of me. Looks like I'm balding. It's just my hairline. All right, flip her around. All right, so it's all back together. This was not easy in the slightest. I had to take the shifter completely off. We actually had to shorten that spacer right there just a little bit because it was making contact with the tunnel. Now we have plenty of clearance forward and back. Everything is Loctited back in with the top lock nuts on there, except for, no, that is top lock. Okay. So it's all back together, should be good to go. It's supposed to rain tonight starting about 6 o'clock, and it's gonna rain all day tomorrow, which is Friday. Literally, it's gonna take a week or two to get all this done. Just between everything else going on, we got good tunes at least playing. By the way, little Milwaukee speaker, not sponsored by Milwaukee, but that's a pretty badass little unit. Little battery, or you can charge it off the wall. That's a good thing, good purchase. It's actually free, but free with the purchase of some batteries and stuff from Home Depot. So what we're going to be doing is, I got the spark plug wires off, got them numbered in case I'm an idiot and I forget which ones go where. We're going to take off my cover plates, take the spark plugs out, and start trying to fit the headers. This is going to suck, especially without any help. I think normally we have the car even lifted even higher to get them in. So I'm going to see what I can get done. Wish me luck, and hopefully it isn't that terrible. Okay, just to prove, I'm here by myself. anything is possible with enough willpower and stupidity. I got the hood off by myself, put it over there. By the way, that is a steel hood. That's not light. And we're off the ground considerably, so it's not particularly an easy task. Didn't hurt my back or nothing, just was smart about it. Slid it across the cow because I don't care. The only thing I was nervous about was the windshield, because this is an original 70 Charger windshield with the gasket. I don't want to hurt that. So we got the primary header cluster fitted, and trying to remember how this tube goes in, number 2. I don't know who you are, but thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna keep working on that. Just wanted to show that. All right, get her in. Alrighty, so thank God for my old video files. So passenger side header has to go in as one solid unit. However, there's not enough ground clearance, so you got to have the car way in the air. So I had to wait for Dad to get home so we could lift the car way in the air. We're probably another 8 inches off the ground, maybe foot. And Dad's gonna put some fresh silicone on the gaskets. We'll slide this up there, get that one in. Maybe attempt the driver's side, probably not, because it's torsion bar or steering column out, preferably both. But it's gonna be raining here pretty soon, and my side is getting wet for some reason. I don't know what that is. So yeah, this is always fun. And yes, we use vice grip to take the torsion bars out. No, we haven't ever broke one yet. Yeah, it'll probably happen someday, but you know what? Ain't happened yet, so. And we're not really marring it up. We're just scratching the paint off. It's all about, you got to know what you're doing. You just beat on it willy-nilly. Yeah, you'll hurt them, but I've never broke one before, and that's how I was taught. I was taught by my good friend John Weiss, who was old Mopar guy. Had a bunch of old race cars, and that's how they always took him out of the dealership, so.
He worked at the crusher dealer.
Yep. So we'll get this bad girl in, and we'll check in. And here I thought I was able to do this myself. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's those new motor mounts, maybe a little bit taller, but the header is not where it used to be. It's definitely also more dinged up than it used to be. Every single one of those bolts fought us. Did not want to go in square. I don't know if we got any cross-threaded. I'm not gonna care. Dad went ahead and put some new sealant on there, so we shouldn't have any header leaks. All the header bolts are tight on this side. It probably 2 hours doing this. Got a jack underneath the back of the header. Then we had the car up in the air to get the header slid in. Then we had to let the car back down. Just nightmare. So got 2 spark plugs in. Gonna do the other ones and get the wires back on. What says you did?
Headers are always fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially big tube Headman headers from the 70s that are actually for a B body, but it's all you have, so you put them on your late B body or your mid B body, your 70 Charger. Yeah, you know that those headers don't actually go to this car.
Really? Now you tell me.
Yeah. So that part number 75330, that is actually an early B body header. And early B body's got a little different engine compartment. That's why they required so much bashing and different modifications to fit. But they're a dang good header. And new ones are about $1,000. And they're way better than the other options. So, okay, I'm gonna get the spark plugs in, get the wires on, cover the car up, because like I said, it's gonna rain here in a couple hours, and it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. So we'll see you guys this weekend maybe. Alrighty, so this is where we're gonna call it for the night. Dad's putting the hood hinges on so we can put the hood on. That'll probably come back to bite us when we do that side, but we'll deal with that later. Alrighty, so here we are, another day into the Jezebel rebuild saga. I don't know, day 4, day 5, I don't freaking know. I don't care. I don't wear pink underwear. There's Dad. He's grabbing stuff. We got the car in the air. We're getting our safety wheel chocks put underneath, because now we're gonna start working on the driver's side header. Once that's in, all the gravy work can commence and making this thing run again. Sorry for making Dad do the work I'm filming right now. So we're gonna get this driver's side header hopefully stabbed in there, and hopefully not run into the same issues we did on the passenger side, but wish us luck. Ooh, that 415 on that hood looks pretty. Look at that. Okay, time to work. Alrighty, so we went ahead and put the starter in and we tested it. The battery that came out of the dart that went to Dad's van. It is junker than junk can get junked, but it does turn the engine over, so at least we know we're in the right bolt hole. We'll loosen that starter up a little bit. I got the steering unhooked in Jezebel, so that way we can move this pitman arm wherever it needs to be. So now, wish me luck as we try to fit headers and torsion bars out too. Okay. Alrighty, project update. Starter, we're tightening it right now. It's about quarter turn at a time. Driver side header. Future me when you gotta undo this car again. Install it as one unit. Same thing with the passenger side. These old race Headman headers, freaking awesome. Hopefully that torsion bar don't hit this guy like it does on this side now, thanks to those polylock motor mats. I'm pretty sure these new motor mats set the engine a little bit taller, and that's making the actual engine sit taller, which is making it make contact with the torsion bar, which it never used to do. We're gonna remedy that with a giant pry bar. All right, time to finish the starter install. Starter is hooked up, headers are in, and just want to show you guys something that's really freaking cool. I can't believe it. You know, all our batteries got hurt pretty hard in this last freeze. Power on. To the key. Still turns over. Yeah, that thing turning over, that's compression power ready to wake up. So let's get the rest of this crap done. Thank you for all your help, Dad. While you were pooping, I finished everything else up. Starters in, headers tight.
First things first.
Yeah, I guess the valve movement comes first.
Yep.
Alrighty, so here's another update. I realize now that every time I film, I say alrighty. Alrighty, then. So steering's all hooked back up, groovy. The little boots are in pretty piss poor shape. Exhaust is reconnected. The power wire, that's little itty bitty baby power wire for the electric cutouts, it broke again, no surprise. So drive shaft, I guess, and then put the car on the ground, and we're done underneath here, and we can start working on things that are stupid like cooling and all that other crap. Says you did.
Send him a soldering iron.
Super close up.
Yeah.
Right in the nose hairs. Time for the chrome molly drive shaft that Strange Engineering built for me, that made up to their Dana 60. Their Strange 60, what they call it. It's a beautiful drive shaft still. Oh, there's still oil in the back. And there we go, let's not do that. So I'm gonna go get this installed, and Dad's gonna work on that electric cutout problem. Drive shaft's in. Dad got that cutout resoldered. I'm glad he knows how to do that. And now we're ready to put tranny fluid in the transmission, 8590. This is the stuff, GL3 or GL4. Do not want to use anything else. Mainly because the new stuff is kind of synthetic, and it will actually eat the brass inside the transmission on your synchronizer. So you got to run GL3 or GL4, like an old A833. So get this transmission filled up. Alrighty, so Michael is gone. Mom left. She was here for a little bit. She's been helping. I've kind of forgotten all about doing all that because I want to get this stupid headlight motor mounted. I used to have one in the garage that had the special bracket that bolted to the top of the grill and to the base. Well, I don't know where the heck it went. It went to Timbuktu. So anybody in Timbuktu, let me know. Please send it back home, because we're making a new one out of some iron. This was my attempt, just really haphazard with the plasma cutter and giving myself a little bit extra meat, and it ended up being way too long. So that's no good. So we're gonna try and get this motor mounted because we want to make sure it's actually going to work right and open these headlight doors. I remember when I put this together last, it was almost impossible to mess with this motor while the radiator and everything else was in. It was just a nightmare. So I want to try and get this done, and we can always button all this crap up tomorrow or next weekend or something. That's what we're working on. Headlight motor. So we can have functional headlight motory things. Alrighty, so it's a new day. Another day.
Square fucking plug.
Yeah, I know.
Who put a square plug in there?
You did. Dad's doing the oil pressure. I actually probably put that in there. Dad's doing oil pressure stuff for the back of the engine. I got my new radiator here. I got rid of my cold case because it sucked, and I sold that to Weston Champlin for his charger. In fact, I sold him a whole bunch of stuff for his charger. So the radiator came from like Auto City 1958 or something like that on eBay. He makes these stock appearing radiators. They're 2 giant cores. Don't mind the splotchy black paint, but got one of these in the Dart. It works freaking phenomenal. Looks great, looks factory. And Buddy's got one in a real Max Wedge race car. You can't tell the difference. Cools it awesome. So screw cold case, got this thing. My 70 shroud did not fit. Luckily Dad had his shroud he bought, so it fits on here, but it doesn't fit on his Champion, so I'm gonna use it. So let the paint dry. We'll get her mounted in here, fan, and we're pretty close being where we need to be. So radiator has been test fitted, fits perfectly. That's a really good buy. I think they're like $200 or $300 for that thing. I think it's like $220, honestly. Probably made in China, but I know it works good. Fan was mocked up, got it good. And by the way, Rob, that message for you is still there on the silver blade on the fan. So that's all hooked up. Shroud's kind of been mocked up. I got to go cut a spacer for Dad because we're working on the throttle linkage. Factory 70 charger bracket's going to work with the M1 tunnel ram. Freaking awesome. That little clamp was over there. Okay, you didn't lose it. Okay, good. Dad's working on that. I got to go make a 1/2-inch spacer to compensate for the room took up by this block. So I'm going to go cut that on the lathe real fast, finish the radiator, and Dad's going to finish the throttle. Good to go. Keeping you guys up to date. Dad's got the throttle mostly figured out. Radiator's installed. Fan shroud's on there. Everything's tight. You know, that wobbles. That's okay. That's real Mopar Performance restoration part. Get the fan belts tightened back up. Fans in the shroud. Nice. Get the radiator hoses on. Hopefully they still fit because we've got a new radiator. Get the overflow back on. Get the oil filter setup put back on. Go ahead and put the coil wire back on. We'll need that. Fuel line attached. I'm ready to make noise. Says you did.
Need a spring.
Oh yeah, we need the spring, yeah. Alrighty, so radiator, hoses, all this stuff's pretty much buttoned up. We moved the shield from the top hose to the bottom hose because those lines are pretty dang close. Now we're gonna take our attention to the interior because we gotta set up the pedal stop and all the clutch pedal. I gotta put the shifter in the car. And by the way, I don't have a radiator cap, and I totally forgot that I had this from years ago, Rob. Oh yes, just for you, buddy. Alrighty, so the shifter's in. Everything feels pretty good there. That was kind of a fight. So now we're working on the pedal stop for the clutch pedal. So this throw-up bearing, like no more than 1 inch of travel. It's like a 6-to-1 pedal ratio. And Dad's got basically a 2x4 behind the carpet. That was his idea. It would work actually. It's oak. It's really strong wood, but I don't want wood in my car unless we're building a wagon, a woody wagon or something. But I mean, it would work technically. But at least we know where our pedal needs to be. So the idea is to get a steel braided cable like these lanyards. This is from my door bar pins, and run it from that bolt, that stud for the steering column, and then either loop it around where the spring would go right there, or drill a hole, and it would be the right length, you know, so the pedal can't go any further than that point, and that'll really keep the pedal from, you know, overextending. That's the idea. Let's see if it works.
Like a block.
I ain't doing frickin'. Would you put wood in your car? And don't answer that.
It's oak.
Don't answer my question, because I know what the answer would be, because you would happily do that in your car. Okay, let's go to the store. It shows this little beauty thing, even though it's not done, it ain't proven whether or not it'll work or not. A little piece of stainless cord. There we go. So, we're getting a bunch of crap done. Let me show you. We're on the final stretch. Gotta hook the fuel line up here soon. Got double valve spring, or not valve spring, but a throttle return spring. It made this kind of stiff, but it works really good. Its springs are a little too stiff for their own good. I need to grease the cable a little bit there. Belts are hooked up. We are this close. Alrighty, well, the moment is nigh. We have spent a lot of time massaging the throttle getting all that stuff set up with the dual throttle return springs and a lot of clearance things so we get wide open throttle and we finally have it. Oh, hours and hours and hours working on that. And Dad got the cable set up in here for the clutch. There it stops. He did all the math in here. So we got dual stops for the clutch. We've got a mechanical one here, and then we've got the cable up there. Technically the cable would be mechanical still. So a little bit of fuel to the carburetors, put some fluid in the clutch master, and we're gonna set you guys up and we'll see if we get her to fire. There we go, bringing her back to life after a whole year. Cobwebs in the Zoomy covers. In fact, before we get too ahead of ourselves, just want to show you the cobwebs. They're about to have a eviction. All right, she's shooting fuel through the carburetors, so fuel that. Huh? You got fuel? I put it in the carburetors. So there's battery power on. Out of gear. More gas. It's falling out. Oh well, that's like character. By the way, the tack does work. I don't know, let's see if it does work. Yeah, it does. Okay, we're up to temperature. How's that for you, Dad?
Go back clutch primes up, got me worried.
Yeah. Let's kill the power. It's good to hear this thing rumbling again. I think it's louder than I remember it being with the open zoomies.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Which, the open zoomies, by the way, if you didn't watch the build series on this car, I don't know how well I can show you the exhaust, but it's an exhaust cutout where I have crazy hair, so don't mind me. You have like a straight pipe off the header that goes into a super turbo muffler from Jegs, one of their super quiet ones, and then it goes out to the zoomie, and then the cutout kicks off and has a pipe that runs around the muffler and reconnects with the zoomie, so the zoomies are always active. Now what I screwed up with the zoomie is this is just a hollow chamber. I made these, and it acts as kind of a resonator, so it does quiet the car down. This thing with open headers is, holy crap, but it sounds like it's hitting way harder with the dual quads than it ever did with the old setup, which the old setup was one of those Wyand cross-flow 6-pack tunnel rams. Oh, that's freaking, that's, I may have a chubby right now. We put the Hemi cross ram Barracuda Dart velocity stacks on there. Let me just shut this bad boy. I know it clears, I just want to see how that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can live with that. That's Offenhauser's never gonna make their cast aluminum velocity stacks again. I'll just run those. And some poor guy with a real Hemi Barracuda or Dart is needing those, and it's just like, too bad, guy. Too bad. They're mine now. So
what about the guy that wired that?
you did a good job, even though it was a factory wiring harness and it's mostly plug and play. You did it.
That's factory.
Well, the BEI, yeah. That's plug and play. We just had to get a diagram, and I had a diagram for you.
It looks nice.
It does look nice. Even though we don't use the old ballast resistor anymore, we've got an actual solid state proper one for 70 now. That guy kind of died, but it just looks cool, so I'll leave it in there. Excel supercoil, BEI ignition, Taylor wires, all the fuel lines I did, modeled after Chris Bird songs, but I did all in AN. Market Advanced Engine Machine built the engine for me.
What was your oil pressure? Was it 3?
It was 75. Water temp came up to about 190.
190.
190.
Already?
Yeah. It's a hot engine. She makes some steam. So I think that's gonna about do her.
Put the lid back on your clutch ready.
Yeah, true. So thank you guys for checking this one out as always. And next time we might drive it. Who knows? So Dad, as always, what do you have to say?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.